I wanted to share the recent success story of Carl. Now, Carl's 34 on a good income tech company and is doing quite well for himself. He came to me going, should I purchase property 1 as an investment property? Should I purchase property 2? What are the cost-benefit analysis there? Am I going in the right direction? Do I need any insurances? Also get a clear investment strategy and a synchronized strategy for everything. Now, for his situation, he was actually lacking a lot of energy. He was doing very well, but he was kind of flat. So we started the visualize stage to find out what was most important to him. And that was getting the most out of life, spending time with his family, seeing his connections all over the world. He wanted to be, at any stage, be able to go overseas to a friend's wedding, spend months here and months in that country. And he also wanted to be an entrepreneur. And at the end of this meeting, I asked, well, how much of this are you actually doing? That question got him thinking, and we met a couple of weeks later. And he said, Mike, I've been thinking about what you said. I want to throw a few additional scenarios in there. So I want to see the implications of property 1, the implications of property 2. But what happens if I do one of those properties and start a small business, or don't do one of those properties, but do the small business and start an investment portfolio? And what happens if there's a catastrophe? So we started to crunch all those numbers, and we found out that this next property would actually hinder him and reduce his flexibility and wouldn't enable him to have that entrepreneurial life and that flexibility to travel all around the world. So showing him the implications of that, he decided, well, I'm going to start this new side business. So we set the spending targets, how much he needs to earn, how much he needs to spend, what his debt levels need to be. We increased his disability insurance so he could be independent. We went through a very detailed investment strategy. So how do we phase out of his current employer shares? How do we phase in? How do we take advantage of opportunities that arise and what levels we should be looking at? And we looked at a few different investment portfolios, depending on which pathway he wanted to go. We also looked at strategies for managing debt, super, and his estate planning. So he came out of the process and he had this newfound enthusiasm for life. He told me he'd already started setting up his business. He got the structures. He's got a few ideas. He had so much energy at the end of this as opposed to when he came, very flat. He had extreme flexibility and optionality. So he's not stuck with one big lumpy asset. He can do whatever he wants, sell out. He can change the plan at any time. We got clear direction. So he knows exactly what he needs to do. And he's got all the steps he needs to do it, and he's got a plan for the next 6 months at least. Now, the reason why I say 6 months is because of this flexibility and optionality. That's probably going to change in 6 months. But it was a life-changing process.